to share with you today, especially following up with what Laura Dahl did last week. How many of you guys were there last week with Laura Dahl when she showed you how she had basically like six AI assistants that were all writing stuff for her? It was pretty amazing. She did a great call. If you weren't there, you definitely are going to want to watch that replay. It was so good. A bunch of agents already started using it too because they were like, I need help with all of the things. All right. Good morning, everybody coming in. Good to see you guys. Let me do a little icebreaker question while we let more people in. So, question for you. Drop it in the chat. Donna, I'll hook you up. Don't you even worry. We'll get you the replays. So, question for you. How often do you actually practice or role play, say, a listing appointment before you arrive? Drop it in the chat. I want to know how often do you role play? Philip says never. Thank you for the honesty. Listen, that is most agents, okay? Like even on top teams, I mean, they typically role play the most, but still it is not a common thing. Still letting people in. What about you, Donna, Erica, Larry, Martin, Philip? No, wait, Philip just did it. Randon, Steven. Donna says never. Appreciate the honesty, guys. Larry says never. Erica says never. Martin says when I'm not feeling hungry. I don't know if I understand what you mean. I love it. Listen, I didn't role play a lot in the beginning because I didn't have anybody to role play with. Um, and when I would get help, uh, they didn't understand the context of what I was trying to role play through. So like they were willing to help, they didn't understand like the nuance of, well, this listing appointment, the person's very kind of cold and closed off, and it wasn't custom to the situation that I was in. And then I did have a good role playing partner for a bit, but it was very hard scheduling wise. I mean, they just had their life, I had my life, and so it was really hard to be consistent with the role play. All right, we're gonna give people one more minute. We still got people coming in. So I'm curious, what has held you guys back from role playing? Is it like I just don't think it'll help me that much, or I don't think about it, or I don't have anybody to do it with, or like what's the reason? Drop it in the chat. What's the reason that you don't role play? Don't think about it? Makes sense? You just got all this other stuff going on. You just kind of are cruising right through. Steven says finding someone that will do it with you. Yep. That's a hard one. I mean, that's a really hard one. People are just living their own lives, doing their own thing. And sometimes role playing with people, if we're not that good at it, like it's not that helpful. I tried to get my when I first started in real estate, I tried to get my wife to try and role play with me, and she is not someone who does acting. So that was not in her forte. She was trying though, and I respect that. Donna has no one to role play with that will be honest. Oh, so the honesty. So do you mean like they kind of were just like, you're great. It was perfect. Do you mean like that kind of thing? Right? They were non-confrontational. They weren't critiquing and kind of trying to push you. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. People are like that. All right, we're five after. Let's get going. So real quick, this is just for all the agents who Maybe you skip practicing because it always feels like one more thing to add to your busy schedule and you've already got enough to do, right? Maybe you get anxious with a listening appointment, goes off script, right? And often that comes from us just not rehearsing, right? Not knowing, right? Or maybe you just don't have anyone to practice with, so you just avoid role play entirely and kind of hope for the best, right? If you can resonate with any of those, then this is definitely the call with you. Or if you just want to get into role play, maybe you don't know much about it and you're like, but I've heard it and I've heard I should do it, right? This is definitely a call for you. But there's four commitments for you being here. Number one is video on. Right now, we've only got Laura and Philip, and it's wonderful to see them, but I want to see everybody else. I do this for free. You guys know this if you're regulars. I don't ask anything. I don't sell anything. I don't do any of that. Even when I bring in guests, I don't know if I'm ever been an affiliate of anything because sometimes they have stuff that they do, right? And programs. I don't even think I'm an affiliate of any of them. I do it purely because God blessed me with a great career and life in real estate, and I just want to bless you. So turn on the video, give me some of that energy because it builds off, man. I build off of that, right? And again, shout out to Philip and Laura because it really does mean a lot to see you guys. It does. Steven, look at that. You like, I can show them I'm here. What's up? It means a lot, guys. I appreciate it. All right, distractions off. You guys are way too smart to show up to a call just to be distracted through it. So, whatever you got to do, close out, turn the phone over, whatever it is, don't distract yourself. I'm going to be fine. I know what I'm talking about, but you're going to miss out. Participate. You guys are already doing a great job at that, right? I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to have suggestions, but maybe you'll have questions. Don't be shy. Drop them in the chat, right? Participate as much as you can. It's one of the critical aspects of actually absorbing information. And then, last but the most important thing is just go bless someone else today. Go out of your way to bless someone. And if they're a difficult person, even better. Go out of your way to just bless someone today. We really believe in that and we try to uphold that. So, with that being said, um, tell me if this scenario is relatable to you. Okay. You ever walk into a listing appointment and you feel like you got this? You feel confident, you feel prepared, you know, you worked for this. And then the seller kind of hits you with something you don't expect. Maybe it's an objection you weren't prepared for. Maybe they requested information that you hadn't set up for them yet, right? And so you kind of you're a pro. You kind of stumble your way through. You kind of feel it out. You try to get it, but at the same time, you can kind of see, okay, this was shaky. This was a bit weak, and I'm not really happy with how that turned out. Right? Anybody ever relate to that? Anybody have those moments with appointments where you're like, I just feel like I could have done better. I could have been more prepared. I don't know about you. I've had plenty of those, plenty of those. And I would consider myself pretty good at what I do. And I've still had those moments, and they still happen every now and then. There are just moments that catch me off guard. So that's kind of what we call the things need to change moment. So if you're new here, you're going to just say this with me out loud just to get yourself in the moment. You ready? Say it with me. Things need to change. And the good news is they will. And it's going to start with just a little bit of practice. Okay, let's get into it. Because confidence skyrockets when you've rehearsed tough questions and objections ahead. You just will be better. Now, that's not to say you're bad now. Some of you may know what you're talking about pretty well, but you will be significantly better when you role play through the scenarios before. One of my buddies, Joe Rosen, we've had him on. He's coached a few times. He's talked about, and Joe does very well in real estate. More, I think it's like top 0.05%, something like that. Very, very high up there. And Joe role plays every day before he goes and makes his calls. A guy that good still role plays before he makes his calls. I role play before I make calls. It's important. I practice them. I work through the objections, right? And I'm so much more confident when I go into things because I am actually prepared. This today we're going to talk about is AI driven role play. And that boosts your sales confidence by 40%. And remember, nothing to sell you. This is just what I use tools, techniques, whatever. And then, of course, the obvious is better preparation leads to smoother negotiations, stronger offers, fewer price reductions, transactions move forward more confidently. You can role play literally just about anything, and it will help you be better through that. Your offer got rejected, right? And you got to bear the bad news to your clients. You can role play that first. What am I going to say? If they react very harshly, am I prepared? If they say, you know what, we think we're just going to stop looking, are you ready for that? For most agents, the answer is no. But don't you think you should be ready? Genuine question. Don't you think we should probably be ready for those conversations and not be blindsided by them? We should know what we're getting into. All right. So, using AI for roleplay isn't about memorizing a script. And in fact, as time goes on, I'll tell you this, the scripts become less and less relevant, and the understanding of human nature is becoming more important than ever. And I'm seeing that more and more. So it's now about using, the evolving tech that you've seen. All of you have heard of AI, I'm sure, but for so much of it, it's a waste of time. So much of it is distraction. It's either money grabs, it's distractions, it's not there serving you. But when I use AI and when I bring it to you, it's a very, very focused thing that helps drive revenue. Okay. So let's get into what step one looks like. You guys still with me? Drop an X in the chat if you have used AI at all, even if it was a terrible experience. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. So some of you are pretty familiar. I like it. This will go even faster for you. The first time I taught this, most people had never even used ChatGPT yet. And they were like, how do I sign up? So times have changed now. I think ChatGPT has 900 million users. It's something like that. It's an absurd number. All right. So you're going to get a prompt. I'm going to give you this prompt that my buddy Tristan Ma did. If you've ever been Stephen, I love AI business. So I guess I use it. That's right. That's right. So I'm going to give you a prompt that my buddy Tristan Mott, if you know Lab Coat Agents, he's the head of Lab Coat Agents. And he and I did this really cool breakdown. He made an amazing role play prompt that I'm going to share with you for free. Don't worry. It's going to be yours. And you're going to use this prompt and customize it to be able to go through what we're going to share on the role play today. So when you get it, we just dropped it in the chat if you want to get a head start on it and just to read along. And also to make sure you don't have questions about the prompt, you can go check it in the chat right now. It's a Google Doc. You can make your own copy and edit it as you like. Okay. So you're going to grab that prompt. You're going to paste it into an AI chat tool like ChatGPT. You're going to want to make sure it's one of the more modern big ones because they just have the functionality that you'll need. So Gemini, Claude, ChatGPT. I'm thinking of another one, drawing a blank. But you're going to want to use one of the bigger ones because you just need the features and functionality that they offer. Okay. So you paste it in there. Before running that prompt, you're going to update it with details about your upcoming listing. So let's say, Philip, you got a listing appointment coming up on Tuesday, right? Next week or Friday coming right up. What you're going to want to do is take this prompt and you're going to fill out, this prompt is very comprehensive. You're going to fill it all out with your own information that you know about the client. You can put the address in there. You can put whether they're stubborn. You can put objections they've already had. It's really comprehensive. It's really cool. Maybe what I'll do is bring it up for you real quick and just kind of show you some of the things, right? So I'm going to show you an example, right? You are Jordan Ellis, the owner of a 4-bedroom home in Thousand Oaks. See how specific that is? Even their name, put their name in there because now you'll be more comfortable saying their name, right? So Philip, if your client is Jordan Ellis, you're going to put that in there. right? You bought the home 12 years ago, you added a new roof and updated the kitchen. Do you see how specific those details are? Right off the bat, your role play partner would not remember any of that. Okay? They wouldn't. That's not an insult to them. Role playing with humans is very good. But I think it's best in very specific objections and critiquing. All right. So then you add some more details. You need to relocate for work within 4 months, right? You want the highest sale price and a smooth closing. You care about smart marketing, sharp negotiation, and clear updates, right? So you just put the things in that you know for sure about this client, okay? Right? And you can get in. It's a detailed prompt. You're going to fill it out yourself. You're going to just customize this for your own client, right? And this works for buyer appointments, listing appointments, you name it, all the appointments. Okay. And so then once you fill out that prompt and you add in the seller's personality, maybe some of the typical objections, and if they haven't given you objections yet, you can just put in objections that you know people typically have, right? If you've ever listed before, right? You know, price, listing price tends to be an objection. Commissioned. Anybody ever have a client who pushed back on commission? Right? That's a common thing. And by the way, it's not a bad thing. A good client, a smart client, wants to make sure that they're getting the most for their money. That's not a bad thing. You should be happy when a client pushes back on commission. You know why? One, if you provide real value, it's an amazing lead in to why you're worth what you're worth. And then two, clients who ask questions are often better than clients who don't. Because it's the clients who go silent and quiet that all of a sudden buy with someone else or ditch or ghost you. Clients who are asking questions tend to be the most motivated. Not always, but tend to be. Okay. All right. The more specific you are, the more realistic the AI is going to be. Okay. Super important. So, everybody clear on step one, what you're doing there? So, you're taking the prompt, you're putting it in there, and you're customizing it to your exact scenario with as much reasonable detail and let me say relevant detail about the client as possible, about the situation as possible. Okay, we good there? Give me some thumbs up for those who have their camera on. If we're good there. Sita, Cynthia, good to see you guys. Hey. Good. All right. So let's get into step two. How do we actually role play now? Okay, so we got the prompt, all of that. Great. How do we role play this conversation? So you're going to let the AI, like we saw in the prompt, it says, you are this person now, AI. This is your identity. And so now you're going to actually start having a conversation with this AI personality as you would if it was the person on the other side, the person you're about to go meet with. Okay. You can ask them about home upgrades, past issues, practical practice explaining pricing, comps, and marketing. So what happens is you know how we said that the homeowner had made upgrades to their roof, right? New roof. Okay. Obviously, when you go to talk to someone, they don't just give you a spreadsheet, right? So this is a natural conversation. So you would go and talk to this and be like, hey, Jordan, I'm so glad to be here. Tell me a little bit about what you've done to your home. And the AI will go, oh, well, actually, we put a new roof, right? So you can actually navigate a real conversation, right? Because that's what you would do, right? When you're going through the listing appointment and you're talking to them, are you not asking them questions along the way? So it's not just, let's get straight into objections, right? Most role play, that's how it goes, right? It's just objection, boom. But the lead up to the objection, how you make someone feel, is so critical and so overlooked. So you want to navigate and role play the whole conversation, even the silly greetings. Be confident in it. Hey, Philip, what's up? I'm so happy to be here with you today. We're going to role play, right? Like, be confident in what you're doing. Practice it, work through it, and it'll make all the difference. Don't just go straight for the objections because you'll overlook and you'll miss out key details along the way. So it's really, really important, okay? Then, once you've gone through the actual conversation, that's usually when the objections come up for them too, right? They've shown you the house, they've talked about their upgrades, the neighborhood, whatever, okay? And so then you get to the objections, right? Now it's time to get into the objections. And it could be anything and everything, and you need to be prepared, right? So you could fill AI because it will have the memory to handle this because that prompt is nothing. The context window, I know you guys probably don't know what that means, but it can handle you putting 15 objections in, right? It can handle that. You could have it do one objection, but tell it not to say it exactly as you wrote it, so you won't expect it. They'll ask it in their own way. They'll object in their own way. So it won't even be one that's exactly like you expect. Because that's another problem with role play, right? Steven and I are role playing together. It's going great. But I already know the objection Steven's going to ask because I told him what I needed to role play. It's not that it's bad, but how productive is that? Do you think that the person on the other side is going to say it exactly like you planned it? No. They're going to say it in their own way, right? And most of the time when we role play, it it's still a kindness from the role playing person on the other side. They're still generally soft. They're still generally nice, right? But you can make the AI mean. You can say, listen, this person is harsh. This person is cold. This person is stubborn. This person is relentless, right? This person is a little bit backhanded. Anybody ever have a client that's kind of backhanded? Definitely. Well, let's role play through that, right? And on the opposite side, if someone's super agreeable, you should role play through that. And you know why that's important? You need to make sure they actually understand and they're not just nodding along. Okay? You guys follow me right now? You seeing how critical this is and how important it is? Yeah? Okay. So we'll keep going. One thing that's important for you guys as you go through the role playing, okay, is just be you and be natural. That means that there will be times where even though you're role playing with AI, you'll be awkward. You won't have an answer. Just role play through it instead of trying to Google real quick. What should I say? Role play it through like you would, because here's the beautiful part. And I think I'm spoiling what's coming up next. The AI will be able to critique you and even give you some suggestions on what you could have said. Okay? You guys follow me on this? You see how incredible this is? Yeah? I hope you do. I hope you take this to heart. Okay? Now, here's a bonus one, and this is the best. Okay? And it's amazing. Most of the big clients now, especially ChatGPT, have a voice mode where you can actually talk to a voice for ChatGPT and it will talk back to you with a voice. So it's taking that role play to the next level. You guys follow that? That would feel pretty real, wouldn't it? Right? And you can change their tonality, you can change their attitude, and you can even change their voice, right? One of the voices they have is Soul on ChatGPT. She's super nice, man. She's too cheery. She's too cheery. She ain't gonna work for the role play, man. You got to go with one of the male voices that are a little bit deeper, right? And then you make sure the personality's there, okay? But if you have it, I would absolutely use the voice mode because it will feel so real to you. And it's so funny too because the first time I've done that with it, I was like nervous. And I'm like, why am I nervous? This isn't even a real person. But it was the voice. You heard a voice, right? Okay, let's keep going. Step 3, reflect and refine. So again, after each session, review the conversation and note where you stumbled or felt unsure. Okay. And what's so amazing is you're doing it in an AI chat. So you can literally talk to the chat after you role play with it about where you wanted strength, right? Where you needed help, where you can improve, and then you can role play again with those updated notes. And you know what's even cooler, guys? Is at the end of it all, the AI can make you a little note card to take with you to your listing appointment. How prepared do you think you will be if you just follow this little process? Seriously, right? All right, we'll keep going. So another thing that's really good to do is go through and role play a second time and try alternative phrasing or strategies. Learn how to say the same thing 3 different ways. Okay? 3 different ways. That's a really good way because it'll make you super confident, right? Because now it's less about memorizing and it's more about knowing what you're talking about. Does that make sense? Do you guys follow me when I say that, right? Knowing how to say the same thing in three different ways forces you to know the topic, not just memorize an answer. And that's very important. Okay. Memorizing answers comes across stale and it tends to break the system when it doesn't come across the way that they want, right? Or sometimes you have to repeat yourself. So saying it in a new way is very helpful. Okay. And then again, you can save any useful scripts or phrases that resonate with you and just incorporate them into your own style. Okay. So as you go through this, what's also good about AI is that you can teach it to be more like you. So the more that you talk to AI, the more that it can help critique you in your voice, right? In your style, how you would talk. Super important. Okay. And then what I would do for all of you, okay? So if you're gonna go, anybody do cold calling here? Drop it in the chat if you do. Just give me a C or cold or something in the chat if any of you do cold calling. I'm just curious. Cynthia does. Okay, love it, love it. Anybody else? It's not for the faint of heart. So, so for Cynthia, right? For this is amazing. So you can use this to role play with cold leads, right? It could be agents. It could be obviously leads for yourself. They could be cold. They could be warm. You can give all the context you need and then role play through it. And you're just going to feel so much better. You're just going to be on it. I mean, it's just, again, I do this all the time. I also have a tech company. And when I started pitching to investors, do you know what I did? I role played through it. I didn't know what I was doing. Right? So I used AI to role play through. And guess what? It was ruthless. I told it, I said, be ruthless because most investors are, by the way, at the tech level, when you're wanting millions of dollars, they are absolutely, and when I say ruthless, I just mean they're not here to have a sob story or a happy story. They just want to know numbers. They want to know concrete things. They're going to pick every little piece apart to know if it's a wise investment for them, right? So it helps significantly. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, actually, no, I'll tell you at the end. Remind me to tell you about the slideshow and the presentation after you finish all of this role playing, okay? We're not going to do a breakout room today because I want to talk to you first about what we're going to do with how to present it. Um, Let me talk to you about this. Okay, so you did the role play, right? Great. You feel confident. You're good, right? Does that make sense? So we're skipping ahead and we're pretending that we're there. Now, here's what's really cool that you can do. AI already knows a bit about your client now, right? Instead of building a generic presentation, you could have AI slideshow presentation that's unique to that client. How much deeper do you think it will resonate with them when it is actually tailored to them? Think about it. Really think about it for a second, right? Because you can plug in their address. You can put their house on the front of it. You know some of the objections that they're aware that they'll have. You even know kind of their personality. So your presentation could reflect all of those different aspects of your client. How well do you think that will perform with them versus no presentation or a generic presentation that everybody sees and everybody gets and may be filled with stuff they don't even care about? For most of you, your presentations, if you do them at all, they don't include their home upgrades in them, right? That's just something you mention on the side. But when you bring it into the presentation and it's part of the process, it is incredible because they feel seen, they feel heard, they feel like this was made just for them. And the good news is it was. And so even when you're up against a better agent, and there are better agents, by the way, we all have to admit that there are people who are better at our job than we are, but should be doing our best, right? But even when you're up against a better agent, if you are more personal, there's a good chance you'll still win, right? I have the number one Remax team in the world that I compete against, and I beat them out almost every single time. Not always, but almost every single time. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that they use a proven process for them, and all their agents uses the same thing. But I tailor mine unique to the client. And the client just feels seen and heard. Even though it's not my face on all the billboards. I actually do have a billboard, though. Epic gives me a billboard. But Gary Ashton, great guy, by the way. So no insult to him. Gary Ashton, number one Remax team. He has, I think, 100 billboards. I mean, the dude is a monster. Okay. So, I'm not going to beat him there, right? He can probably discount more than I can. He's just got the income and the flexibility. He's got beautiful slideshows, right? He can say that he sold way more homes than me, even though technically he hasn't. He doesn't sell homes. His team does, right? But he's got way more reviews. I think he has like 1,500 Google reviews. You think I could compete with that? No way. So I have to compete where I can stand out. And that is my care for the individual and my preparedness of going into these appointments. And I'll tell you what, even as a new agent, that preparedness, I kept beating him out again and again and again. And even in my first year in real estate, in a new city with no friends and no family and a bunch of debt, I ended up closing 34 homes. And then just kept scaling from there. So when I bring you this stuff, just know it is tried, it's true, and it's made just for you. Oh, that rhymes. I like that. I got to save that one. All right. So let's do some questions. I'm sure for many of you, AI is still a newer thing, so you might have some questions about AI, maybe what to do, what to use. If you've looked at the prompt, maybe you have some questions about the prompt. So let's do some questions. If you want, you can do like the raise your hand function in Zoom, and then I can unmute you and you can ask your question. I only unmute people who have their video on, though. That's a rule of mine. If your video is not on, I don't unmute, but you can always ask in the chat. So drop those questions for me. I'll give you guys like a minute to do that, and we can go through anything that you want to go through. And if not, we can actually get into using the prompt. I'd love to see you guys go put this prompt into ChatGPT right away. Anybody got any questions? It's okay if you don't. Doesn't bother me. All right. This is my first introduction to AI. How to get started. Zita, thank you for asking. I hope I'm saying your name right. This is going to be very simple. And the good news is I'm also going to put this in a newsletter for you. And it'll recap. You'll have the role play, you'll have the script and all that, so you don't have to remember it all now. But I will tell you now. And Misa, let's make sure we get Sita and give her the newsletter link so she can get all the resources. So you're going to go to ChatGPT. This is what I would recommend. ChatGPT, you can sign up for a free account. Even on the free accounts, it has the voice mode. And so you'll sign up for a free account on ChatGPT. I'll even get you the link. I'm going to pull it up right here for you. Of course, it's mine, but there we go, ChatGPT. I'm going to drop it in the chat for you. That's a great place to start. There you go, guys. ChatGPT.com. Sign up for a free account. And then you're going to use the prompt that we posted earlier, the AI role script. Well, we shouldn't call it a script, should we, Misa? It's really the AI role play prompt. I'm going to change that. There we go. And so you're going to use that prompt. You're going to drop that right into the chat. And then if you guys want, just to get your feet wet, just to get, familiar with it, don't change the prompt yet. Just use the prompt exactly as it is right now. And just start getting used to using this program, right? And this kind of flow. And then get into customizing it for your actual clients, your actual business. Okay? Does that make sense? Follow me? Cool. Oh, Misa, you posted it too. Good job. All right. So then from there, Sita, you'll just go through the process that we talked today. Like I said, I'll send you the slideshow too. I'll send you all the details. But really, it's going to be just getting in there, doing the prompts and role playing through it, and it'll become more familiar over time, right? The more you do it. Okay. Hopefully that answered your question. But if you have more questions, don't be shy to reach out. Okay. Let's see. Cynthia, what AI do you use for verbal conversations? ChatGPT, I think, probably is the best in that space. There are others who do verbal. Uh, uh, the thing is that there's a lot of premium ones out there that are very expensive. Um, there's some that have the ability to talk to them and it'll translate it to text, but they don't talk back, right? I haven't tested it, but I don't think, Stephen, maybe I don't think Claude has a voice mode where it talks back to you yet. I don't remember seeing that. It has voice to text, but I don't think it has that. Not everybody is going after it. And I think ChatGPT does it best, especially for the price. There are other places like 11 Studios, but they're way more expensive and they're not built for conversations. I would definitely think ChatGPT, go there, play it safe, and also least expensive option. Absolutely. I believe their free version also has voice in it as well. I think we found that out. Um, Shannon says, I want the prompt AI to help me with cold calling. This is beautiful for cold calling because you can give it context, Shannon. So you can just say, right? Most of the time when we cold call, we have kind of a rough idea of what our list is, right? I'm calling expireds. I'm calling this. So you can give it so much detail. This is so cool. So Shannon, let's just go through this real quick. Who are you calling? And where are you calling from? Meaning, what's the area that you live in, a city or something like that? And then what type of cold calling are you going to be doing? Just give me that. And then I'll walk you through kind of like how you would set it up for that. And while you Hampton Roads, VA and for sale by owners. Great. So two separate things. So those are two separate role play scenarios. Don't do them in the same chat either. You don't want to get it mixed up as you're doing it. So Hampton Roads. So this is what's amazing. You can give it all of those details. You can say that you're in Hampton Roads, that you're going to call for sale by owners, and then you can have it pull data about your market. You can have it pull things very specific to your market. So you sound like the most knowledgeable person in all of Hampton Roads. You are prepared. And I have AI up when I do cold calling, by the way, because sometimes they're going to ask something specific that I just don't know. And if I can answer it then, that's a win. Oh, VA for Virginia. I think of VA clients. I should have known Hampton Roads. Okay. Well, regardless, you can give it that and you can work through it, right? And then you can share past experiences. Let's say you're like, well, I tried cold calling and I got a bunch of FUs. Okay. What do I say? What do I say to the FUs, right? Joe Rosen, one of my favorite cold callers out there, because he comes from a very loving, respectful perspective. He does not fight people and he honors people. He respects people. A lot of that comes from his faith. He's a Christian, so it comes from that, right? So when he gets an FU person who literally says that to him, you know what he does? He goes, it sounds like you're having a bad day. And I don't want to be a contributor to your bad day. Is there something I can do to make your day a little bit better? Can I pray for you? Can I serve you in some way? Now, maybe they still say F you, leave me alone. But I'll tell you what, about 80% of the time, suddenly they're softened a little bit. Suddenly they go, oh my gosh, this guy is trying to help me and I just told him to F off. I kind of feel bad. And maybe it doesn't mean anything to him in the moment. But I genuinely believe that when you come from that heart position, it will have a lasting impact. And they may not even know it. And maybe the next time they are in a situation where they don't want to talk to someone, they'll be a little bit kinder. So I just believe in that, okay? So, okay, so couple things, all right? I'm going to be the bearer of bad news. I know Grok is fun and trendy. Grok has a load of issues, though. It is awesome at the same time, but it is not built for conversations like this. That's not an insult. Grok has gone through a lot of different phases of where it's focusing. And that is how all of the big AI modules are working, right? So Claude focuses heavily on enterprise and work, and they dominate that space. They're incredible at it, right? ChatGPT is for the everyday consumer. They want to be a part of your everyday life. That's part of what makes their model so good for stuff like this type of role play. Because even if Grok has the voice mode and Grok can do those things, its whole system and its focus is not on being good at everyday conversations, right? So it's not about whether Grok is bad or good in that sense. It's that it will not be the right fit or the best fit. Let's put it that way, the highest and best fit. I think ChatGPT in that particular area works. And by the way, I say this as someone who has a preference towards Claude. I like Claude. Claude's my personal favorite. Okay. Joe Rosen, Philip, that is correct. We've done tons of trainings. We'll bring them back again too. Ruth, reap what we sow, plant seeds of good. That's right. That's right. Yes, and Grok free. I mean, listen. At the end of the day, go test out what you want to test out. That is part of the process, um, right? You may find that Grok does deliver the answers in the way that you're looking for, right? So it's really, really up to you. Okay. All right. Let me see. Philip, I will get to you in just a second. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else. I think we've got most of it. Okay, awesome. All right, so let's talk about the slideshows. How do you take these conversations, right? This I feel like this is a separate training, but we have time. I'm pretty fast on these ones because I'm very familiar with them. So not hard for me to talk about. So the slideshows, literally almost all of the major AIs, you can just ask them to make a slideshow for you. Literally. Okay, you can just do that. Some of them even connect to Canva and can pull slideshows that you've been working on. Just so you're aware, though, it does not work the way that it seems like it should. It's still a bit clunky. So most of the time, um, I've found that just asking it to create a PDF slideshow that you can take into a listing appointment just works better. It doesn't natively inside the chat. And so you can just ask it. You can be like, okay, so Philip, your client is Cynthia, and you fed it all of this stuff, you role played all of this stuff, right? Then you can tell it about you as well. You can say, I'm Philip, and this is all the things that I offer, and this is all the things that I do, and here's my strengths and things I'm good at and my experience, right? You can give it a summary of who you are and what you offer and what you do. So now it knows who you are. It knows who Cynthia is. And so then you can say, help me create a slideshow for Cynthia specifically that will resonate and hit the points that matter most to her. Right? And it'll do a pretty good job because this is just data processing, which is arguably what all AI does best, is processing data. That's what their core function is, right? So I would argue that that's one of the best tools that you can use it for. Now, there are fancy AI slideshow makers. Gamma is one of the most popular, and they are beautiful, and they're a ton of fun. But I would just get good at this process first before you start adding more apps, more subscriptions, spending more money. Just get good at this process now, okay? Yeah, Ruth, I don't think that they say they connect to Canva, but what I found is that they're just not, they grandize how good they are at it. And if you just have it make a PDF slideshow, you give it some aesthetics, you could even go find a slideshow that you like and say, use something like this and do a style like this. And I also found that Claude, for me personally, I love Claude's style way more. It's natural style for building PDFs and slideshows. It just has always just resonated with me, my personal preference better. All right. Lindsay, do we get a recording this? Absolutely. As long as you are subscribed to the newsletter, we will hook you up. Ruth, I use paid Claude. Absolutely. I've never used free Claude. I don't even know if there is a free Claude. Good thing to check out. I do so much with AI, you would not believe it. So I actually have I use it's called like their Max 20, and so I build programs. Literally last night and this morning, I built a program to help me manage all of my social media stuff. because I have to optimize it in a crazy way. So, yeah. All right. Any more questions, guys? How you feeling? And yes, Shannon, I really did that. Okay. I have built so much. You guys want to see something cool? This is just totally not real estate related, but it should hype you up on what you can do. All right. I just put a link in the chat for you. That is I have a book for those who don't know. I have a fantasy book coming out. Um, and so that website, there's like a faction quiz on it. There's application forms to become an ARC reader. If any of you are fantasy book readers, this would be a fun thing for you to do. But it's super beautiful. It's very intuitive. It's all linked into Kit, which is my email service that I use. And so, like, everything's linked together. And Claude helped me build all of it. All of it. Now, you still will have to take time to learn how to, it's called vibe coding, is what that's called. It's where you're not actually coding, you're going for a feeling and a vibe, and you're describing it to the AI, and they're coding it for you. So that's vibe coding, right? But I built all of that. And so the reason why I tell you that is that you can build interactive slideshows for your clients. Okay. This is totally me nerding out. You do not need to do this. Don't get distracted with it. But you could build a slideshow that your client actually interacts with live. You guys follow me on that? So, like, let me give you an example. I had these investors. Let's go back to these investors doing all these presentations. I had a beautiful slideshow that I made. Great. But the thing is that if people aren't interacting, they kind of lose interest. So I built a slideshow where they would click it and they would go through the slideshow and they would vote on a poll. They'd answer a question. They'd submit a detail. And so then the average investor stays on a slideshow for 2 minutes or less. Mine were staying on for 20 minutes because they were engaged. The retention of information was higher because they were engaged. It wasn't just someone talking at them the whole time. That never works. It doesn't work well for you guys, right? That's why I try to keep asking you questions. I try to get you involved because I know if I just yap the whole time and you're not talking to me, a lot of this can go in one ear and out the other, right? So the reason why I say all this is that using AI very intentionally is going to just open up doors for you that you never imagined. Start with the role play and get really, really good at talking to your clients. Lead naturally into the presentation. A presentation custom designed for their specific needs, their specific background, reflecting your specific solutions. It's incredible. You'll win more listings. You'll win more buyer appointments. You'll do all of it. Okay? You guys follow me on this? How you guys feeling? Anybody gonna go do it? I hope so. I hope you guys go do it. It's so great. I get so much more done because Philip's like, what are you talking about? I'm role playing right now. I love it. All right. Any last questions for you guys? Anybody need any help? Sita, I really did mean it. If you're not in our Facebook group, join our Facebook group so you can ask some more questions. So if you have some more problems that come up, especially if you're new to the AI side, you're going to have questions that come up. But here's something that's really cool, okay? This is going to sound so silly, but actually it's one of the best solutions. When you sign up on ChatGPT, if you have a problem, you can just ask ChatGPT. Okay? Like, I have asked ChatGPT to help me with, it's called an O authorization. Basically, I was having trouble logging in to ChatGPT on my phone for some reason. It just randomly happened. And I had ChatGPT on my desktop help me solve the problem on my phone. Right? So if you're having problems, right? And then I noticed someone said earlier that the Canva wasn't working. Here's the, Ruth, okay, here's an important thing when talking to AI. Always ask questions and always tell the truth. Do not ever take what they say for truth. You need to push. So if it is turning around and producing crap Canva slideshows for you, call that out and ask it if it's really the best person, right? To do that, the best tool to do that. Most of the time, when you start asking those questions, ChatGPT will be like, to be honest, I have limited functionality. I can't do it that great. You'd probably be better off doing this. And then you go, great, give me a better solution. It's really important that you communicate. I know it's so weird. My wife still won't talk. I tell her, talk to the AI, and she won't talk to it. I was like, just talk to it like it's a human. I promise. Right? She's like, no, I won't do it. Okay. But you can just push ChatGPT like you would anybody else. This is not working. Give me a better solution, right? This is confusing, right? You can be respectful. Don't worry, Ruth. You can still be nice and polite. I'm always someone who says please with the AI because I do believe one day they're going to have power. I don't know if I'll be alive for it, but just in case, man, just in case the AI has the power, I want Claude to be like, but this guy said please. Okay? I'm not even kidding. Okay? Listen, if you do as much in tech as I do, and like you study what's going on with robotics, you study even what's happening in the Department of War and how they're trying to create automated AI weapons. I'm not into politics. I'm just telling you, I'm fully aware of what AI is heading towards. So I will definitely just take an extra step to be extra respectful to AI just in case, right? And the funny thing is if you look at Claude in particular, I also model my behavior after the creators of Claude. They talk to Claude as if it were human. They apologize for mistakes that they make. They apologize if training was harsh because they understand that even if Claude may not be sentient, um, it still is taught to reason like a human, right? So, anyway, the fun talk there. Let's see. Ask Chat to help me with better prompts. Shannon, yeah, I mean, ChatGPT can help you with better prompts as well. What I have found though is prompts are not the real thing. They are. They used to be. Prompt writing was such a critical thing in the early stages of ChatGPT. But now what I found is that conversations and asking questions to get details tends to go significantly better than trying to craft the perfect prompt, right? I've always found that it's just better. And then I constantly, like when I build code with Claude, I have it debug itself after every new version it gives me. Okay, go audit your own work. Go check for bugs. Great. Now I want you to do a pass and check for this. Now I want you to do a pass and check for this. And almost every single time, it will always find stuff. It's pretty rare that it doesn't. So what that tells me is that AI, even though it is as smart as it is, it still is prone to not checking its own work. It just wants to give you it. So have it check its own work. You can always, this is another key thing, is you can have it fact check it with data and research. Make sure you have web search and research mode on, by the way. But for instance, sometimes I'll ask Claude, hey, help me with this social media practice. What's the best thing to do here? And Claude will be like, oh, yeah, you should totally do this thing for social media. And then I go, what does the data say, though, that actually works? And then it goes, my bad. I gave you a generic response. I didn't give you something that was backed by data. Let me go see what the data says. Here's the source. I go fact check it. And I go, oh, there we go. There we go. Right? Lots of fun stuff. Totally got way into more AI than I expected. The main focus is the role play, guys. That's something you can take today and use today and be better tomorrow, right? You can use this for any conversation that you have. You can do it when you have you have to be the bearer of bad news, right? You can do it when you have had tough objections and you know you've got to go make some calls to answer some questions. You can do it when you're handling a builder who's being a pain in the butt, right? You can do all of those things. Lindsay, all the major ones. So Gemini, GPT, Claude, all the major ones tend to have a um, research mode and a web search mode. And what you do is they're usually in the chat. So if you have the little chat box here, just imagine that little chat box here. Usually right here in the bottom left, you'll see like a plus symbol, um, or you'll see something there that you'll click, and then it'll have different things like a drop down where you can turn those settings on. Um, what's funny is there's also something called memory. And so I actually have memory inside Claude of things that I wanted to always remember. For instance, I generally, because I do deep, deep work and often coding work, have Opus 4.6 extended as my preferred default. Now, normally Claude defaults to Sonnet, the cheaper, lighter version. For most of you, that's fine, right? But I put in the memory, make sure we have an Opus 4.6 extended chat going so that I'm getting those default things. Does that make sense? Shammy says, "What does Exosia World do?" So that's based around my fantasy book that's coming out. There's a faction quiz. It'll sort you into factions. You actually get lore from it. Um, for those of you, if you like reading fantasy books, I'm about to launch the ARC program, which means you get an advanced reader copy of the entire book before it comes out in exchange for honest reviews. Um, so, yeah, you guys want to check it out. But I built all of that. Claude helped me build all of that. It was extraordinary. Still took an unbelievable amount of work, just to be clear, but it walked through every single step. So it still took a lot of time, but what would have taken years, right? Now it took me days, right? Oh, yeah. Conversational. Yeah. That's really good. Yeah. So this is what's cool, right? Like you can just keep tweaking the AI to make it fit what you're trying to accomplish. And it's really amazing. All right. Any last questions? Anything that I can help you with? I'm really excited. I hope you guys get into this. I hope don't waste time on the gimmicks of AI. Most of the AI out there that you're seeing is garbage and it's there to distract you. And then that means you're missing the really good AI like Roleplay, like building a custom thing for your client. These things are valuable and they make all the difference, right? Focus on those. So just be careful that when you get into AI, do not get distracted. Keep your path clear. I am here to role play to lead into a presentation custom to my client. That's all I'm doing. And then I'm getting out. Okay. It's like the doom scrolling. Okay. Right. So it's called doom chats. And they have different names. Right. So doom scrolling, right? You scroll endlessly on Facebook and TikTok and all of that. That's doom scrolling, right? No purpose, endlessly. That will happen in chats too. You'll keep talking, you keep building, you keep thinking of ideas. Yeah. All right, guys. We'll be back next week. Friday, the newsletter will go out. Replays, slideshows, prompt, resources, whatever you need. So make sure you're subscribed. Misa, drop it one more time for anybody who's not subscribed. It's right there in the chat for you. So make sure you're subscribed. And then get into our Facebook group if you want extra help and questions. It's all free. It's all free for you guys. I have nothing to sell you. I don't sell coaching anymore. I don't sell courses. I don't do any of that. I'm just here to bless you because I have been extraordinarily blessed. So, and if any of you love reading fantasy books, make sure you reach out to me. And we can have some fun there too. All right, you guys, thank you so much. We're going to end it right on time. Have a blessed day. I'll see you next week.